Ladies, it's all about you. It's Tuesday, it's 8 p.m. Did you know that we have something very special going on this week? It's the National Women's Health Week. To be honest, ladies, I only found this out not long ago, but I believe it's going to help us a lot because today's All About You is here to open your mind about the importance of this week. Now, I'm not here alone. No. I'm joined by a very special guest, and I think it's her first time on All About You, but I'll let her introduce herself. Hello, Taiwo.
Hi, Matilda, and hi, everyone also. Yep, you're right. It's my first time here on All About You. However, I do watch the show every single Tuesday, so it's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Well, thank you for being here. So, ladies, today we're going to discuss the importance of doing health checks. And Taiwo, do you know that a lot of women, they know that this tool is available. They have, so many means for health checks, but a lot of people don't do this. They don't utilize this. And the National Women's Health Week is here so that women can understand the importance of this.
True. Like you said, a lot of women actually do not even know we have the National Women's Health Week. And this week isn't only the week that we take care of our health out of 52 weeks in a year. It's something that we ought to do every single day, every single week. When we find our health, there's a problem with our health, it's up to us to go and seek that help. And how many women put off certain tests that they know they need to do? They receive those letters in their
inboxes.
in the inbox, their post box, via post, and they say, I will do this later. It's not so important. But these tests, these reminders are so important for us as women.
It's true, Taiwo. And Taiwo, do you do health checks? Are you someone who puts it off? Let's be honest with our viewers now. Or are you someone who, you do your health checks when you need to? Like, are you someone who does this?
I am. So when I myself receive these letters in the post myself, sometimes we forget. There are certain tests that we don't do very often. It's not something that we go to our GP every single day or every single week for. There are certain tests that we do every 3 years, every 5 years. And so sometimes you don't remember when you need to do them. But as soon as I get that letter through my letterbox, I find myself picking up my phone and booking my appointment immediately.
Exactly. So ladies, this is so important for all of us. Even I do my health checks as well. And sometimes when we do these checks, it's not for you to be scared when you're going there to do them. No, it's just for you to prevent. There's a very popular saying, prevention is better than cure. So just for you to prevent any potential illness or sickness or whatever that could come up. And I do my health checks as well. And when I go, sometimes the doctor tells me, you need to eat more of this, you need more vitamins, you need more. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because, we go about our daily lives and sometimes we forget these basic things. But when we do these checks, they're like a reminder for us, okay, stop. You need to take care of your body because, sometimes when we just go.
Exactly.
And we don't even think about these things.
Exactly.
But how many times do we lack vitamins or do we lack certain things and we say, oh, I feel tired today. But we don't understand that it's because of these small things.
It's true. It's true. And there are certain things in our health that on the outside, we can look perfectly healthy. And thank God for that.
Yeah.
But when we go and do these tests, it shows us things that us as humans don't see. Like you were saying, maybe the person, they feel very tired, but they don't understand why they've been feeling very tired recently. Going to, a simple health check will explain why you've been feeling very tired recently. And so it helps us to understand and know our body even more. And as women, I would say it's so important that we understand our body. We know our body. We understand why we're feeling a certain way. And when we don't understand, it's normal to go and seek help via the tests or medical professionals who can offer that explanation to us.
Indeed. So Taiwo, there are some key health checks that ladies need to do. There's so many we can do. There's so many we can even speak about today, but these ones in particular, we want to bring to your mind. Why? Because I think they're essential for the functioning of a woman's body. So Taiwo, the first one, mammogram. What is a mammogram?
So a mammogram is the breast screening. And this is mainly done by women who are over the age of 50 years old. It's something that's done, I believe, every 3 years. And, the NHS actually tells us that women who are over 50 are those who tend to get breast cancer. Now, this doesn't negate the younger ones. It doesn't, impede younger people from having breast cancer. But they do say that breast cancer affects majority of the times those who are over 50. And that's why, you know, this breast screening has been made available for women who are over the age of 50. It shows things, like I said, you know, things that human eyes cannot see. These tests pick these things up. And like you said perfectly at the beginning of the show, prevention is better than cure. And so the mammograms is for those who are over the age of 50. And, you know, it's funny that we're speaking about this because I remember I was speaking to a lady who I think she was about 70 years old. And I asked her, so Miss So-and-so, have you been going to your mammograms? And she looked at me and she said, oh, what is a mammogram? And this is the importance of the show, to educate and to remind, to let people know what tests are available to them. So the first one is mammograms.
Mammogram, okay. And we also have the cervical cancer test screening. And I believe this one is very, very important. Why? Because it's for the younger ladies. I believe it's from the age of 25 to 64.
Yes.
Why? Because the cervical cancer can affect anyone. And it goes unnoticed because a lot of times the women don't feel the symptoms. You know, it just goes into your body, if I can say, unnoticeable. But if we don't do this test, then we will never know that, okay, there's something there. And I believe a cervical cancer is done every 3 years. So every 3 years, you know, you get a letter in your post box. I've received one as well. I've done one as well. Just so that you can go for a pap smear. And a lot of people think, oh my gosh, it's so painful. Oh my gosh, if I go, it's good. I know these things can be very awkward, Taiwo. But you have to go with an open mind. Because if you don't do these things, down the line, you know, you can have an illness that you think to yourself, why didn't I just check this out? And a cervical cancer, the smear test is very important. And I believe a lot of women, sometimes when they have these things, and I've seen in the news a lot, oh my gosh, I didn't know. It was so sudden. And before you know what's happening, the woman is just like all over the place because why? She didn't do this test when she was supposed to. And I ever remember the first time I went to do a smear test, it was so awkward, it was so painful, oh my gosh. But once I got it out of the way, it was fine. I was like, oh, this is quick. Do you understand? So if you're between the age of 25 to 64 and you've received that letter in your post box, in your inbox, whatever, and the GP is telling you, come for a smear test. Don't ignore it. Don't say, oh, no, it's not that deep. I'm still young. You know, these tests are not for me. No, because cancer doesn't have a specific age group. You can be young, you can be old. But if you prevent, you know, any potential occurrences from happening to your body, then down the line, you'll be fine. So if you've received an email or a post or something about a smear test, then do it. Okay, and Taiwo, you know, all these things we are talking about, if people want to check it out, they say, okay, you know, I don't believe what they're saying. They can go on the NHS website.
They can.
All this info is there so that people will know that we are not just saying things out of our own head. You know, we did the research, we checked out, we verified the facts, and that's why we're able to speak to you about these things, isn't it, Taiwo?
Exactly, and all of these statistics, so that everything that we're saying is something that, you know, it's easily accessible for anyone. It's easily, so if you have a doubt, you have a question, you're not sure about something, you know, the knowledge is there. And, you know, I even said for International Women's Day that knowledge is powerful. It's power. And so understanding our body, understanding our health, seeking information, using our faith, of course, but seeking information on how we can take care of our health better is so vital and it's key. So like you said, I think it's something that is accessible and we should be open to seeking that information.
Exactly. The next one is breast checks.
Yes. And this one isn't by a certain age. So it's not for women who are within a certain age group. It's something that we would advise all women. And it's something that the NHS actually advise all women to do. So they often advise us that not once a month, but you know, at a specific time during the month, women should regularly check their breasts. Why? For things such as breast cancer, changes to your breast as women. And this is why we said at the beginning, it's so important that we as women know our body. We know we can see changes within our body. And this is why it's so important to do this regular checks. So they advise us, and you can do more research about this, but you know, it's advisable that it should be done the week after our menstrual cycle, because then your hormones have gone back to normal. And so they advise you in a mirror or wherever you prefer. You can lift your hands up at first, leave your hands down, check your breast in a circular motion, check to see if there are any changes, if there are any lumps in your breast, if you notice any, or women watching the show, if there are any discharge, if there's any changes to the appearance of your breasts. And the more you know your body, it's easier to recognize, oh, this lump wasn't there last month. This change to this part of my breast wasn't there last month. So something is altered there. So this is why they regularly advise women to do these checks. And like I said, it's not, to a certain age group. It's not to a certain type of women. It's for all of us to do. And so it's advisable that, a week after our menstrual cycle, we all get into a habit of doing these monthly checks.
It's very deep. Okay, now the next one, and this one is very, very, very important. It's the menopause. Why? And why do I say it's important? Because there are a lot of women I know that are going through this phase in their lives and they don't know what to do. They think, oh my gosh, something is wrong with me. My gosh, what's going on? It's like they see this stage, they see this coming and they get panicked. But if they get the right information, then they'll be able to know, okay, it's the menopause. And what is menopause? Is when your period stops and your hormone levels drops. And this happens from women between the ages of 45 to 55. But it can happen much earlier, depending, because every woman is different. And I've heard women say, I face a lot of symptoms and hot flushes, I can't sleep and all these things. Just in speaking about this, we also have a very important program on Univer Video that talks about this topic very, very deeply. It's called Menopause and Faith. If you're a woman, whether you're going through menopause or not, go on univervideo.com and you're going to access this very vital information about someone who's been through this and who understands the symptoms and how to overcome, the feelings that you go through in this stage of life. She gives very, very, good advice. She balances the spiritual and the physical, and it helps you understand more about menopause. But Taiwo, so there's so many women facing this now, and I see that sometimes a lot of women, they don't know what to do.
Yes.
But there is help out there. There is help available. And, even something I read on the NHS website, that if you're someone who's been taking care of yourself your whole life, so you've been exercising, you've been eating well, taking your vitamins, doing what you need to do, when this time comes, of course, we can't predict what's going to happen. But perhaps maybe you can lessen the grave symptoms that would have otherwise affected you.
It's true.
So this time of menopause, I know, and we're all going to get there.
We will.
No one can escape. If something doesn't happen before our time, we will all get there. We will all go through this phase. It's normal. It's natural. But what we cannot do is allow that to affect who we are as people, who you are as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter. Because sometimes people go through this and it's like their whole world changes. But it doesn't have to be that way. If you do everything you're supposed to do, if you're regularly checking yourself out, if you're exercising, and I say exercise because now I can speak about exercise because I've started exercising. But if you're exercising and doing the things you need to do, then when the time comes, fine, you will have your symptoms and whatnot, but it won't change who you are as a person. And Taiwo, whether we like it or not, like I said, no woman can escape the menopause,
It's
right?
true. No, it's true. It's true. And, our bodies were created by God. And at a certain point, we will all go through that. We don't stop aging at a specific time. Our body doesn't stop aging at a specific time.
No.
The process continues. And like you said, that's why we have shows like this to explain, to give people the knowledge that they otherwise don't have.
Exactly.
And so that they can understand when that time comes, okay, am I prepared for it? Am I taking care of my health in a way that I should be? Am I eating, balanced meals, a balanced diet? Am I exercising? Maybe not, rigorous exercising every single day.
But like basic walks and
exactly.
just, doing the things that you need to do.
Exactly. When that time comes, I'll be prepared. And like you said, maybe, things might happen differently. But when that time comes, I've been taking care of my health. I've been giving my body the nutrients it needs, the exercise it needs. So when that time comes, I won't allow it to shake me.
Exactly.
I won't allow it to shake my life in such a way where, my family takes a hit, where, my work takes a hit, where myself takes a hit. It comes, but it doesn't have the power to shake me in a negative way.
Exactly. So ladies, there are so many things you can do. You can exercise, you can eat well, you can do your dental checks. It's always good to check your teeth from time to time to make sure there are no hidden things there, because sometimes you chew that bone and then there's something hidden there and you don't floss, you don't do these basic things. So this is why we're here. It's National Women's Health Week. But to be honest, Taiwo, every day should be all about our health. Not that we become vain or we become obsessed with our bodies. No. But it's because why? For those of us in the faith, for instance, we want to serve God long.
Exactly.
We want, to be able to do the things that we know that we can do. But if we allow our bodies to just deteriorate, then how would we be able to serve God longer?
Exactly.
Or if maybe you've never watched the show before, but you say, oh, why are they talking about health? Because our health is very key. Health is wealth. If you have good health, then you can be able to be strong for your children. You can be there for your husband. You can go to work to provide for your family. But if you're weak and you're always sick, how can you do the basic things? Taiwo, I was even just thinking now, our health is in fact, is linked to our spiritual life.
Very much
because
so.
How many times have we been sick and we're not able to read the Bible because you feel so weak? You feel so tired. You want to pray, but it's like because you're so weak and tired, you can't even pray. And then before you know what's happening, you think, oh no, it's fine, it'll pass. But then you start to see even your spiritual life deteriorating.
Exactly.
Why? Because your health is not the way it's meant to be. And then people, they start to say, why am I weak in my faith? Why am I not strong? Because perhaps they're not looking after the physical. And the physical and the spiritual, no matter how much we try to run away from this, they are interlinked. And we've seen this time and time again that people even become sick and their faith gets shaken. Why? Because they were not strengthening themselves physically and spiritually.
Yeah, it's true. And I think something that you said, and I was thinking about it as you were speaking, is when we take care of our health, this is not vanity.
Yes.
When we take care of our health, making sure we go to our regular checkups, making sure that we go to, we receive that letter in our letterbox. This isn't vanity. Vanity is when we taking care of our health to a completely different extreme. But when we do it within these remits and these things that are easily accessible to us, it's not vanity. And this pleases God when we take care of his temple that he gave to us to serve him. In serving him, we serve our family, we serve our husband, our children, all of these things.
Yeah.
And when we take care of our health, this is not vanity. It pleases God because then it means that we are able to take care of our spiritual life.
Yeah.
We are able to come to the house of God. We are able to serve him. We are able to serve our family. We are able to serve our community because we have the strength.
Exactly.
We have good health in order to do so.
Indeed. And just as you're speaking, it brings me to the Bible verse in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19, that says like this, or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have from God, and you are not your own? For you were bought at a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. Look, I know that there are some sicknesses that will come to us that there's nothing we could have done. You've done so many health checks, so many things, but sometimes you get this disease that unfortunately there was nothing you could have done. I know this happens. But ladies, if our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, then we have to make sure that we are looking after it, because after all, it's not ours. It was given to us by God. And if God has given us something so precious, how should we treat it? We're not just going to despise it and say, oh yeah, God, whatever, I'm just going to treat what you've given to me anyhow. Wrong, because if someone gives you a precious gift, if someone gives you a diamond, if your husband or whoever gives you a diamond, you're going to value that diamond. You're going to say, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I love it. Oh, I love you, whatever. So if someone, human whom we can see gives us something and we value it, how much more God? How much more should we treat his temple? Let's not despise. Especially sometimes the young ones that think to themselves, oh no, I still have time. I can eat chicken and chips every day. I can eat my McDonald's and do this and nothing will happen to me. There comes a time when that bill comes and you're like, oh, okay, it's real. Health is real. No, it is real. So if you're a young person, don't despise this. Don't think this is not for me. It's for every single person. And Taiwo, you and I, we're not doctors. No. We are not medical professionals. But we understand that our spiritual life is linked to our health. And this is why we are telling the ladies today, you have to do this. Because, for instance, there are some people, they drive. They drive and they value their car so much. They do regular MOTs.
Exactly.
They take it for car wash. They paint. There are some people when they're with their car, oh my gosh, this is their thing. So for us, how much more should we treat our bodies? Even more than we treat our cars. If a car needs maintenance, how much more the temple of the Holy Spirit? But if we are doing our regular checks, if we are doing the things we need to do, then even when sicknesses and things come, it will not, paralyze us in the way that it would do if we were not doing these checks. I hope you're understanding what we are saying, ladies, okay? And Taiwo, if someone is watching us right now and they say, do you know what? I've been hearing what you're saying, and you know what? My health has been affecting my spiritual life. I need someone to talk to. We have the helpline, we have our WhatsApp. How can they get in contact with us?
Well, as you said perfectly, we do have our helpline number. It's a 24-hour helpline. So if you ever need to speak to someone in regards to any of the subjects that we've just spoken about, you can get into contact with us. The contact number is 0207 686 6000. For those who feel more comfortable to write a message as opposed to speaking to someone on the phone, you can send us a message via our WhatsApp also, which is 0207 686 6010. And there will always be someone on the other side of the line to speak to you.
Indeed. So look, ladies, we want you to blossom. The whole point of today's episode was so that you can understand that we want you to blossom spiritually and physically. And both are interlinked. We cannot escape this. So pay attention to what we've said. If there's any, relevant health check that we spoke about today and you say, oh, I need this one, then go ahead. Speak to your GP. Your GP is not your enemy. Your GP is there to help you. Book an appointment, talk to them, but prevent anything that could potentially harm you in the future. And Taiwo, just before we finish, there are some ladies that say, oh, I already use my faith. We cannot be religious when it comes to our health. I already use my faith. I do what I need to do. I drink there's something in the church. We have the blessed water. We drink, we use the oil. And of course, our faith is always going to be the most important thing. And we will never, say, do not use your faith. Exactly. It's important. But we cannot be religious. We have to have an intelligent faith.
Exactly.
Where we balance both. We go to the doctors because God created the doctors to help us, right? He gave them knowledge so that they can help us. So we can never be religious, right? We have to understand the use of intelligent faith.
Exactly. And I think this is where the balance comes in so perfectly. And we even say that there comes a time where we could do everything right, be eating right, drinking water, and we've done everything that we could physically do. We take it to God in prayer, but we also seek medical help too. Yeah. So we've been doing our part. We've taken the problem to God for God to do his part in prayer. But there also comes a time where we have to say, look, I need physical help. I need medical help. And like you said so perfectly, they are not the enemy.
Yeah.
God placed them here on this earth. God gave them that knowledge. Doctors study for a very long time. But this knowledge that they have doesn't come from them. It's God that gives them the knowledge. Why? To help us when we need it the most. So they're not our enemies. There's nothing wrong in calling your GP and booking an appointment. These tools are there for us to access and for us to use. And something that I often find myself asking myself is, like you read in the verse, God, this body that we have, God gave to us, but it's not ours. And when that time comes, when it's our time to leave this earth, as we all will, how am I giving this body back to God? He's given me this body. But if I take care of it, if I maintain it, if I use the tools that are accessible to me using my intelligent faith, the blessed water, the blessed oil, eating well, eating healthy, when my time comes, I can be sure that I will give this body that God gave to me back to him in a good way. And so it's something that I often think about to myself and ask myself, when my time comes, how am I going to give this body that God gave to me back to him?
I think you've summed it up perfectly. And ladies, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to email us at allaboutYou@uckg.org and we will answer your questions, okay? So we hope today's episode has helped you. I know I say this every week because every episode helps you, I'm sure. But we hope today's episode has truly helped you and opened your mind, okay, to the fact that we need these tools, okay? Let's use them wisely and let's serve God for a very long time. Remember, we want you to blossom spiritually and physically. And the more you blossom, the more you can glorify God and you can bless those around you, be a testimony at home, in school, wherever you go. Okay, ladies? So until the next episode, take care and we'll see you soon. Bye.